Welcome to PAO Fans International. You're joined by Tom and by Nick. Welcome, gentlemen.
Evening, boys.
Good to be on after two solid wins. When was the last time we had this? Mate, especially us Aussie guys, where we can discuss two wins.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a European win with a
Definitely not this
domestic
season.
league in a while, so it's been
But
a
two
while.
two quality wins as well, not just any sort of random wins.
Yeah, including a derby as well. So traveling away to Sweden and then derby. But, we can't always have nice things. So while things are starting to look bright for the FC, the BC's been in a bit of a decline. So let's get straight to it with what's been happening. Straight away, we'll start with the Malmo game in Europa where Panathinaikos travelled to Sweden. We defeated Malmo 1-0, courtesy of Jurisic in the 85th minute. The goal came from uh, a cross that was like kind of scrappy. It went to I think it was Seren that was there, and then it was Jurisic was the one that reacted best to it, and just tucking it away in. Um, Very scrappy game. Let's discuss the game. Even though it was scrappy, we got the vital 3 points, which kickstarts our campaign again. How do you guys see it, Tom?
Um, Nerve-wracking, 15 minutes. I think, yeah, it was probably that 15-minute mark where I actually was a little bit nervous. I think we couldn't control the game. Very scrappy. I think they dominated possession. Well, clearly outsmarted us. And then we slowly got into it. Then we got the penalty. I think it was around the sort of 20th minute. And obviously we know what happened there, right? With Swiderski. Once Swiderski missed, I thought we were going to be lucky to walk away with the draw. I think we started to pick up a bit more momentum. Lafont, I know everyone sort of wrote him off, but I think some two quality saves, pretty much match-winning saves, right? Um, Defense was pretty tight as well. I think we played okay, but just frustrating the fact that we couldn't score. The attack was there. Then finally some relief. Obviously with Jurisic right at the end. And that sort of stuff, like it doesn't bring that confidence with the team as well. Like I can't remember how many shots on target we had, like some like 8, 9, 10, whatever it was. And to continue to miss and obviously not hit the target, it doesn't help anyone or it doesn't help the team, right? And confidence levels drop. And thankfully, thank God that actually, the ball actually went into the back of the net and walked away with the win. And just like that, we're in contention again for, the 24, if not 8. I think there's another 4 games left. We win 3 of those 4. We're pushing top 8. So, yeah, can't complain. Win away from home as well.
Nick?
I thoroughly enjoyed this game. Not our best performance. If we look strictly solely at performances, the 60, 65 odd minutes of go ahead was a lot better than this. But I prefer give me this one all day long. As Tom was alluding to, slow out of the blocks, which was annoying because we spoke about all week leading into the game their frailties, especially their defensive frailties, how they normally win the league in Sweden pretty much routinely every year. This year, however, their season's coming to a close. So they're like essentially in preseason and they ran 7th behind Djurgården and they had a shock winner in their league. So it was a prime opportunity for us to go there and win a game on the road in Europe and send out a real statement of intent in this league phase of the Europa League. Eventually, we did just that. The slow start, I don't know what to put it down. I think they just caught us by surprise. Lafont, I've been a big critic of his, outstanding. I recall 3 huge saves, especially one early doors. I think it was off a corner. It was a header, and he took a couple of deflections on the way in.
Yep.
The way he kept that out, I'm pretty sure the official page of the Europa League actually they shared it again a few days ago. He's in contention for men of the match. In this game, I'd go Palmer Brown, who was outstanding. There was a moment with Palmer Brown, it was 3 against 1, and he somehow held his own and we avoided conceding. And that's what I love the most about this game. we lament our lack of like that will to win, the fight in the squad. There was a lot of fight and there was a will to win in this game. Guys, eventually, as we grew into the game nicely, in the duels, we were going in much stronger physically, winning those second balls, and that then allowed us to seize control of the game. Subs were key, all of them, especially Tsedin, of course. But all the subs, I think, were the right subs from Rafa. Then the goal, it was scrappy, but who cares? He took a deflection on the way in. We're going to talk about Bulk as well. Our winner, essentially, in that was also a deflected shot. When you're like Sterg, you got to take it because we've been on the receiving end of those too many times. So take the deflected shots and run all day long. Fans were outstanding. That was for the fans. They were loud. Over 1,200 of our fans, and they took over in that corner. And how lucky are they to be there, to live that live? Other than that, Zurisic as well. I mentioned Lafont and my man of the match, Palmer Brown. I'd have Zurisic up there in that top three. Even aside from the goal, constant work rate, we're up and down, putting his body about, playing in an unfamiliar position as well. I'm pretty sure back then we signed him as a 10, but he hasn't played there now for a long time. And the way things have gone, we've spoken about the downgrades and the injuries at length in previous episodes. He's now had to resort back to playing in that position, and he's putting a shift in. He's running himself into the ground. Tete improved showing. The goals are going to come for Tete. We'll talk, as I said, we'll talk about Bulk, but that would have been a wonder goal. If that went in, that one where he hit the post, wow, what a goal. That would have been our goal of the season to date. And honestly, I thought, even before we scored the goal, I was saying to myself, right, we're banging on the door here. After 70 minutes had gone, we're the ones that are looking likely to go on and win this from here. And thank God, that's exactly the way it panned out. I guess the only other thing I'd add is Zviderski from the spot. Poor penalty. He looked unconvincing. He looked rattled. Yeah. Pontus Jensen was in his ear from the build-up, and he just didn't look convincing. The run-up, which is rare for him, because I can't recall him ever missing a penalty for us. He's quite good from the spot.
No, but he's only ever missed one penalty before, and that was with Bulk in his career.
In his entire career.
Yeah.
And there you go.
It was against Addis with Bulk.
There you go. See?
You could just tell,
the second one just had to be us.
Yeah, you could just tell as soon as he stepped up.
Yeah, lucky he didn't come back to bite us, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably our first glimpse of different tactical play as well. I think, like, coming off, well, it was like 2 weeks ago. A lot more attacking, a lot more control, and you sort of Nick, that will to win. I haven't seen that for a while, and right up to the end, and it's just pleasing. Good, really good to see.
That should be the bare minimum. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that for year on year on year with this club. That should be the bare minimum. Go out there with a will to win every single game. If you don't win, run yourself into the ground, win your duels, throw yourself about, and more often than not, you will win games if you do the basics right. That, especially, as I said, with Bulk as well, is the same thing. This now has to be the minimum, the benchmark moving forward.
Yep, agree.
Yeah. Look, you talked about the fans. I'll start off quickly about the fans. We had our own Arconda there at the game. It was meant to be on today, but he's probably sleeping or something in London. He just turned 18, so 1 or 2 drinks and he's already passed out until 3 p.m. the next day. So he'll toughen up one day. But look, the game itself was mixed. That first half was one of the worst first halves I've actually seen. Terrible, terrible. We could have easily been down 2-3-0. Lafont did pull off 2-3 big saves. Smart play by Swideski to win the penalty. It was kind of really minimal contact, to be honest. There was contact where the player just budged into him, and that little step hop, the whole approach to the penalty was so poor, and the keeper just read it easy. And it was really bad. I felt Malmo came at us very fast and very direct, and we were just struggling, especially in the midfield. When we got the pairing between Chirivella and Siopis, we seem to have gaps. They just don't play well together. It wasn't until well into the second half, around that 65th minute, that 60th minute, where Shoppies was already on a yellow, and it was looking dangerous. I think he did another foul, and Rafa just quickly hooked him. That's when we actually settled. The introduction of Seren completely settled the midfield, where we were able to get a little bit more of the ball, and the midfield, the gaps were plugged, so the defense wasn't really threatened. After when Cheran came, Malmo didn't really have any attacks. All the attacks came when Shelpis was on the field, and we just had gaps everywhere. Um, we should have had another penalty. I think that one was absolutely stonewall, where the ball went over and Pantovic was running onto it. The defender just has his arms around Pantovic. I can't believe that one did not get called. I maintain if the first one was not given, the Pantovic one would have been whistled, but that was a stonewall penalty and red card for sure. I think that's also another reason why they probably turned a blind eye to it. Um, and then the goal came. It was, yeah, the ball came from um, went to Kyriakopoulos on the left. He puts it in, and it was Jurisic that was able to react best to in that scramble to put it into the net. And that's all she wrote. We got the 3 points in what's really a vital 3 points, because that puts us to 16th. Top 24 makes it, and by looking at history, especially last year, 8 points is enough to qualify.
Mm.
8
I reckon we're going to need 9 or 10. And
Yeah.
we're not far. We're not far. I think I read for top 8, which is, I think top 8's beyond us, which is fine. I want a top 16. I mean, we're still in a decent chance for that. Top 8, I think you're going to need 16, 17. We're currently on 9. But top 16, I reckon we could do it with that 13, 14.
Look, we're in the mix. Like it's because of how it is. 24 teams. It's a cluster at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
Goal difference is going to be key.
and there's some sizable teams. I'm just looking at the ladder
Roma,
that
Feyenoord,
that are sitting outside of the 24. So
way
you
below us.
Feyenoord, who were very good against us,
Roma,
they've been struggling. No, Roma's sitting 18th. But
below us.
yeah, but outside the 25 and below you, so you got Feyenoord,
Rangers, Celtic.
you got Rangers, you got Celtic, Nice from France. So there's some sizable names there that, especially Feyenoord, you'd expect Feyenoord to be up much higher, and they're stuck on what, 4 points, 3 points. Their only win was against us, 1 win, 3 losses. Um, a win definitely secures us. If you
Yeah,
look at the top 8, they're on 8 points, not even a game, not even a win ahead. So, and we buckled the go-ahead Eagles game. So, that speaks volumes at the moment. But look, the next opponent, Sturm Graz, won't do the preview because there's a long time to go for that. But our next opponent, Sturm Graz, we historically have good history against Austrian teams, and we played them what, 20,
about 15,
26?
15,
Was it
15.
15? Oh, I
No,
remember
I'm saying about 15, 16 years ago, wasn't it?
we played them in the 99, 98, 99 qualifiers, I think it was.
We played them more
In the
recently as well.
Champions League. I can't remember the recent one, but I remember 98, 99 because if you ever played FIFA 99, you would always come up against them in the Champions League path. So, and that also happened in real life. So, um,
You look at their record, last 5 games, they haven't won a game, either drawn or lost the last 5. So their track record's pretty average at the moment.
so yeah, so anything can really happen in Europe at the moment. It's all very congested in these early stages. It starts to probably separate between that second last and last stage. But at the moment, yeah, I think that win against Malmo really sets us up now as well to move forward. Um,
Halfway in. halfway in, 4 out of 8 games played, and we can say it's a positive. We're in a good spot. I wouldn't say great spot, but definitely in a good spot. Definitely,
I'd probably say
it's been the highlight of our season.
what we would have thought we'd be 7 points at the moment. So
Yeah. And look,
realistically, because I don't think anyone would have said, "Oh, we're beating fine," or maybe at best a draw, but we had opportunities. But realistically, I think 6 points is a pass mark at the moment, 2 out of 4 games, and we've played 3 of them away as well.
It puts it in perspective, though. That go-ahead game, had we walked away with a few points, we're pushing top, third, fourth.
We've
We'd
played
be in
them
the
into
8.
form because they've beaten Aston Villa and
Don't go there.
they just beat Feyenoord over the weekend.
Yeah, great form.
So we've played them into form, ironically.
I think though, after Sturm Graz, it's going to be when it gets really tricky. Those last 3 games are going to be very, very hard.
Well,
Yep.
Sterg Graz is vital again.
That's critical. Must be.
It pretty much from there on. So we'll already have qualified at that point, but it pretty much then dictates, where we sit in that whole cluster.
Unfortunately, that last game, I was thinking Roma would rotate, not much to play for. They'd be entrenched in that top 4, maybe even top 2, but it's not looking good.
Well, it really hasn't been easy for any of the European teams at the moment.
No.
So you just don't know which team's going to turn up. And,
with us, actually, I haven't heard because we've played a lot of these games on the road. Three out of the 4 have been away. The remaining games obviously are happening at Oaka. I haven't heard anything about stadium capacity, assuming it's still going to be half, because that's going to be a real slap in the face if it's still that 50% capacity.
Yeah, it's a shit show at the moment with what Oaka. We haven't gotten the permit to play out of Leoforo when we asked. So yeah, look, the Malmo win was good. He did a lot of adjustments. Even we saw, but we're seeing you mentioned Jury coming back to attacking mid, but he makes that end game adjustments where he pushes him out wide, and he did the same against Bulk. And we can move on to Bulk now. He made those adjustments where late in the game he shifted him, so he does a lot of tactical, a lot of in-game tactical, tweaks. We hadn't seen that under Conti, so we hadn't seen it really under Rui. But today's result, 2-1 against Bulk, first derby win of the season in our second derby that we've played. Goals came from Pantovic in the 20th minute. Chirivella, brilliant vision and ball where he saw Kyriakopoulos in space on the left-hand side. Somehow VAR was taking time looking at it, where you can clearly see he's on by 2-3 meters. He whips in a low-driven cross where it evaded, I think, Zaruri. I think it was Zaruri or Jurisic. He evaded them.
Yeah.
And
Jurisic,
then it was Pantovic that was alone at the back post for the tap in. And then in the 31st minute, little innocent passage of play there between Dete, passing it back to Gedvai, corner of the box. It looked like he went to drive a low cross in, took a bit of a deflection, but it was like a cross-turn shot because his body, everything looked like he was trying to just drill it in and just, I don't know, hope for like a rebound or something, like a ricochet, and then just well beat the keeper as well. And Costandelias grabbed one back in the 61st minute. Kudos to him. It was brilliant individual play for him to beat Yedvay and then just put one in the top corner from an angle. How do you guys see the game?
It was a game with it all, right? So first half were clearly, I think overall actually we played really well. Surprisingly though, 35% possession. I don't know. Like, is that what you guys saw as well? Like in terms of stats? It just,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Yeah, but I think individual performances, I think defense, like Jedvai, obviously, Palmer Brown, excellent. Dubar as well. Siopis, a lot of running around, but yeah, good. Pantovic, again, great to see on the board as well for second time in the last few games. I think he's going to be a key link for us. And Tete, I know we spoke about before, but just how lucky do you have to be? I think he, just from that confidence perspective, he's just got to knock one, obviously put one away, and I think the rest will come. Palistri, good to see him on, back out again.
Oh, we just lost Tom there. We'll just wait for Tom. Um, how do you see the game, Nick?
I was ecstatic with this game, really, really delighted because it's that whole thing with Panathinaikos. It's that consistently inconsistent where we can't string good wins together. We finally bucked that trend, winning a derby as well at home in front of our fans. And not only that, we just beat the hottest team in Greece because not only are they winning a lot of games, they're scoring so many goals and we're heavily depleted. We had Kotsiras go down, so we were without a right back. We had Jedvai essentially playing. I know he's played at right back in the past, but a long time ago. We had Jedvai come in from the cold, playing out of position. We had our third, if not fourth choice striker starting. He's the only fit one. So many injuries and all that against such a good team. And we go out and we win that game and fight to the nail. For every loose ball, we scrapped so hard. Again, that's the effort you want to see. I can't speak highly of all of them. I was really happy. I was impressed. Every single one of them for me was brilliant today. If I had to pick a man of the match, it would go between Jedvai and Siopis, leaning towards Jedvai because even I know you guys have touched on the goals already. There was that Dokari as well, the post that they had where it was Jedvai that won it high up the pitch that got that going for Tete. And the goals will come for Tete, surely. Because he's got the work rate's there, the intensity, you can see the effort. He's just got to keep going, persevere, and the goals will come. And I know that they got an assist in this one for the Jedvai deflection. First goal, Tsidiveya, I know Sterg, you already mentioned it. Outstanding ball to play Kyriakopoulos in, who then put the low cross in. Tsidiveya is probably someone we haven't spoken highly enough since Rafa has come in. He's undoubtedly been the best player overall in Rafa's small tenure to date. Outstanding. This is a player we wanted to sign. We thought we'd signed a real midfield maestro, deep line playmaker that can set the tempo from the back, get the ball from the centre backs, and really get us high up the pitch and get us to control the games and really dictate terms. Look, I know Tom was talking about the possession or lack thereof it for us. I put that down at game state as well. So not only was it by design from Rafa to give Bulk the ball and us sit deep, I just think Bulk were 2-0 down. They had to go for it. And that played into our hands. We've had these games against Bulk in the past where we've tried to be the dominant attacking force that controls it and it's backfired. Then we've also had the games where we've conceded possession and we've looked comfortable seeing them out. And that's what this was. And you mentioned Konstantelias, for me, the best player in Greece. And our fans clapped his goal, sensational goal. Not much Jedvai could do about that. Even after that, the alarm bells could have rung. We kept Bulk at arm's length. We kept them well and truly at bay. And that's a testament to the players and to Rafa. Just brilliant. And honestly, I know you mentioned about the penalty that we could have had in Malmo. I thought we could have had a penalty here for the shot in the box on Palmer Brown at the end. I'm amazed that wasn't looked at properly.
Yeah, there was a dirty elbow from Lovren
That
on
was Stonewall in the
PPV.
box, bang,
Yep.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was a really cheap shot. Sorry, Tom. I know you said you had that issues. Do you want to finish up or do you
Yeah.
want to keep going?
Where was I up to? Palistri.
The,
Good to see
uh,
some minutes. Obviously, getting in. I think it was like 10 minutes at the end, but good to see him back on. Highlight defense. I think the link there, standouts. And I think Bulk really threatened really in that square. To be honest, I think they outplayed us a little bit, sort of midfield, at stages. But considering the injuries players out at the moment, heavily rotated, maybe that's what we needed. Just a bit of a switch, not that dependency on Swiderski anymore. Give Pantovic a bit more sort of run as well. Yeah, outstanding. Wrapped.
That's another one. Really pleased for Bundovic to get off the
Yeah.
mark. That's something we needed to see.
Yeah.
Not that he's had a lot of minutes under his belt to date, but he really needed that for his own confidence. And he was good. He was also good when he came on against Malmo. He puts himself about. Again, there's effort there.
Yeah. And Lafont touched on him obviously against Malmo, right?
Good.
But I think
Really
there was a
good.
few, social media, a few photos. He was pretty emotional as well after the game. And even just watching, some of the videos of the crowd and the players at the end. I don't know, that's just really good to see. And we talk about the negatives a lot, but yeah, made my day. Great
That
stuff.
played a big part in our win.
Yeah.
Getting the fans on side. I read a few hours before kickoff that it was sold out officially. It looked packed. There were a couple of empty pockets in gate 13, but that's a gate 13 thing, probably outside the club's control.
Yeah.
Tickets that they were selling, I believe, were sold out, and the atmosphere was sensational. Everyone was behind the players. It was like the old days, even from way before, from when the bus rocked up, the team bus.
Yeah. Vocal, loud, was good.
That's what we need in these home derbies.
Yeah, look, I've got Jedvai clear man of the match. I probably have about three others ahead of Siopis, I thought Kyriakopoulos was very
Yeah.
decent. Tete had a good game as well. EPP, Palmer Brown was very good as well. Chirivella as well. Siopis' role was just to neutralize Delhi. Just track his runs, follow, pester him, make sure he's not given a lot of time on the ball. Because when he did, and we saw that, he scored a goal when he got that free space. So unfortunately for him, he did get injured. It looked like a pulled muscle. So hopefully it's nothing too serious for him. But overall game, once again, we say game of two halves, and it literally was that the first half were playing quick passing, weren't really giving time bulk to set up, really to do much. We looked really good in the first half. And we got the both goals courtesy of that. The second half, I don't know what happened, but Bulk just, for me, they dominated us in that second half. It was very tense, and I was worried if one goal came, the next one will come straight after that as well, because
Yeah.
Bulk can make comebacks, and they have done it in the past. And, I think once Delhi went off with that injury, it really stifled their attack. Zivkovic got himself in a couple of dangerous spots, and it was Jedvai that put a last-ditch tackle, really, to stop him into getting free space. I thought match that was one of the match savers, really. We almost killed off the game with that they're playing Jurisic through, and
Yeah.
Jurisic was just a little bit too slow, where the bulk player just made an excellent tackle. It was just an excellent tackle by them. Uh, you know, I didn't think that we should have got the penalty for their keeper, like claiming the ball high.
No, no.
I saw suggestions, and that for me is never a penalty. Like, keepers have full command of that area, and it's their territory, especially. So they're going to go up there. They're going to take you out if you try and match it with them. But what I did like about this game was it was Rafa making the adjustments. It was just the key adjustments, the game plan, everything like that, the in-game adjustments. We saw Pelistri come back after 2 months, came on as a 9. He has played there a couple of games where he's cameoed for Manchester United as the 9. So that was good to see. The game itself, like I said, tale of two halves. First half, brilliant. We're seeing Pantovic, who, for me, is a work in progress. You can see there's glimpses of good things, and then there's just some things that he just does incorrectly, but he will learn. He will get better, and I think he'll be quite a handy player because he's
Yep.
quite versatile. He can play as a striker and he can play as the right wing. We also saw Bakasetas in both games, Malmo and no, came on against Malmo. Bakasetas come on as well, both games, um, which was very good as well. Good to see him back. So it looks like the troops are slowly returning. Um, Pantovic, yeah, first goal of the season. Tete, first assist of the season as well. Tete, unlucky not to get on the score sheet. He got that space. He shot with his right foot, his weaker foot, and forced an excellent save from the goalkeeper who tipped it onto the post. That could have just easily rebounded in or something like that, but it just, yeah, couldn't believe our luck with that. And there was a big moment to make it 3-0. There was, I think it was Jurisic that stuffed it up, where
Yes, it was. Yep.
it was Jurisic that
Yep.
was on the byline. He could have played a pass to Pantovic, who was waiting at the back post, and Zaruri, and I'm going to come to Zaruri as well very shortly. Um, he was close to the penalty spot, but he just gave it straight to the ball player. That would have been 3-0, and I would have been comfortable at that stage. If it was at 2-0, I was never comfortable. I felt that was a big chance gone begging. And then we saw, and what was good about us was there was that all-in scuffle, and it seemed to have at that point fired up the ball players because let's not make a mistake about this. We were asleep for a lot of that second half. It felt like we couldn't maintain the ball. It felt like we had no control of the ball. Anytime we did, it just got back to the bulk defenders who then again started a new attack on us. So that was a key moment. We lost Kyriakopoulos also, it looked like, to some sort of injury. I don't know if it was a pulled muscle. I don't know what's come out of that yet, but we saw Mladenovic come on early in the second half. And I think what we saw in Mladenovic was the same frustration that every Panathinaikos fan shared about Zaruri at the present moment, where Mladenovic had the ball, was playing a simple pass to Zaruri. Zaruri has his back towards Mladenovic and not even paying attention or anything. I think outside of the young boys hat trick, he's been an absolute dud of a player. He's just not on the same page as the players. I feel like he's a one-trick pony where he's got the ball and he looks to cut in and then try and kill the shot, where it's either going to go straight at the keeper or completely wide, high, wide. Like, we haven't seen the early potential, like what he did in with Burnley and earlier in his career. He's still young, but there's nothing for me to suggest that he's a star and he's actually starting. There's nothing to suggest that he's gonna benefit our team, make us better. And that's the disappointing part. We are in need of a left wing. We can't rely on him. I think he's an absolute dud. And watch him now prove me wrong in the next game, just like Rafa sort of has. But I still have my reservations about Rafa at the moment, although he's doing well at the moment with us. But yeah, Zaruri really pissed me off today.
It wasn't his worst game for me, and I agree with you for what it's worth. On the whole, I think he's been a complete bust, and I'd love to see the loan cancelled, terminated in January, and we look elsewhere to strengthen in left
I
wing.
don't I don't
But I
think we've
think
got that
uh,
clause. I think we've got a
uh,
mandatory buy.
what was it, mandatory? I thought it was option.
I think it's mandatory buy.
Oh, and that was what, 3 million or something he's worth.
Yeah, 2-3 million. It was something like that.
I hope that's not true. Look, this game, he had that with him. It's overhit crosses and rose edge shots. That happened a couple of times in this game. But why I say it wasn't his worst game is because we had less possession. So obviously he had less of the ball as a result, and he was tasked with more work rate, and there was work rate from him. There was a bit of effort from him. Finally, that's why I'd say it wasn't his worst game, as opposed to Malmo, where for me he had a real stinker. That melee that you mentioned with Mladenovic, that was my highlight of the game. I loved it. That's what this club, that's what this team needs. That's what the fans need. That's fans, players as one. That, as you said, Sturge woke us up. That's the effort. That's they're showing. And the Serbs, we said it from last year. The Serbs are the ones that get this club. That's what it feels like, and they're the ones that wear their heart on their sleeve and play hard for the Tirfili.
I'm
That's what
also
we
gonna
want to see.
I'm also gonna say even the Croatian in my picture because he was like one of the early
It's
ones to
all
jump in, and
no, yeah. The
he just
Croatians and Serbians.
he looks like he'll run through doors and walls for his teammates, and that's what we need. And he was just outstanding. He's playing that makeshift right defender where he has played earlier in his career when he was younger. He started off, I believe, more on the right back position, and then transitioned more into, and he played left back, and he primarily was in that defender centre back position. But fantastic. This is a guy that this year could not get any game time. It looked like he was on the outer, rumors being sold to Dinamo Zagreb. Dinamo Zagreb were interested in buying him, but he's come now. He's played what 2 games in a row, and today he showed he was man of the match for me. And just on fan polls, it was clear he was man of the match as well. They're the man of the match. Even I think Flash Score something, one of those, or Sofa Score had him as man of the match as well. So everything backed it up where he was just man of the match. And I just want to make a side note: the green jerseys, I absolutely don't like this year because they were bland, but having the sponsor on it makes it look a lot better. Even though it's not a sponsor, it's more for a promotion for the dog shelters. It actually makes the jersey look a lot nicer. So he hoping that Romanian whatever thing happens as a sponsor or something, just make that green jersey a little bit nicer because at the moment it just looks bland. And I'm wearing the third strip at the moment, so I love the third strip. So um yeah, the jersey does, come to life a bit. Um, but you know, we kept Zivkovic quiet. Ozgoev went off early. They brought on Bianco. Despotov looked like he had a couple of glimpses. Yakumakis had that one shot that he got called offside. He was looking to dive quite a bit as well. He just, yeah, he's a bit of a strange case, but Baba was threatening for them as well, but we contained the threat as well, and Polk were coming first before that game. Um, so look, you take the win in a derby. It doesn't matter about possession, doesn't matter how you do it. It's 3 points. Sometimes it does matter how you do it. Like if you're Olympiacos, they got 2 penalties and a red card for Kifisia. Retos should have seen red. Bondens should have seen red, but it's the Greek league where
That's what they're used to. How
yeah,
many titles have they won like that?
it's the Greek league where some teams get blessed with refereeing and then others just really have to go to war to get results. But 3 points and we're still sitting seventh or something with a game in hand, but it's not that bleak anymore if you're a Panathinaikos fan. Like, we go through the emotions, the highs and the lows every week. We talk about it. It's, the listeners listen to it. We're sitting sixth at the moment. We're 10 points behind Olympiacos, but we do have that game in hand. So that game in hand will put us to, we beat Orphe. That will put us on 18, 7 points behind, five behind. Bulk was sitting second, so things start turning there. You know, things can start turning, and you know, there seems to be a lot of belief. And we'll move on to the Rafa because there was some. Sorry, you wanted to say something?
I did, yeah. Just in terms of the injuries and now the whole timing with international break, Belistri and Bakasetas, as you guys have touched on, great to have them both back. Bakasetas has now been called up for these meaningless FDK games. Why, I don't know. I know Costandelias is out. They should have called someone else to experiment. That's not ideal for us. Belistri, I haven't heard. Is he going to Uruguay? That would be an absolute disaster if he went. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen the I haven't seen the list. That's an interesting one.
Normally, I wouldn't mind him going. That's the South Americans are really passionate. They take it to the next level for their national teams. But I believe Uruguay's already wrapped up their World Cup spot. This guy hasn't played since August 28th. Just stay back in Athens. You got these 2 weeks off. You're going to the World Cup. Focus on your club for now. Then you
I,
can worry about the World Cup.
yeah,
Then
Yeah, I agree.
the other thing I was going to say is I haven't heard anything on Kotsiras, the extent of that injury in Kyriakopoulos.
yeah, there was well even Swideski, he was injured as well. That's why he
His wasn't as severe though.
it's not severe, but last week or during the week he was training with a niggling injury as well. So Rafa, didn't include him today, and we had that makeshift squad. Um, so that yeah, there's some curious cases. I'm just trying to remember the Cortiras one. Cortiras, yeah, because he came off injured versus Malmo.
It's they've hit all at once again, these injuries. And that's why again I think this international break has come at a great time.
I don't think, yeah. Well, Calabria's meant to be back
He'll
now.
be back, yeah, right
Yeah.
after the break.
Oh no, during the break, he'll be
Yeah.
fine to train. I assume Dessa's as well. There was something I know. I read. Or I'm
He's out
looking.
for Sturm Graz from memory.
He's eligible to play. It's because I think if you get removed from the list, our good friend Leo Fortis was explaining it, or people in his video today were explaining it. If you've been removed from the list, you have to wait 2 months after to return to play, and that 2 months is up as well. So he'll be eligible to play in the Sturm Graz game. Um, it's just waiting to hear what's the go with him. Because we haven't seen him since that accident or heard from him since that accident with Young Boys, and he was there at the final game. So that's pretty much what we've seen of him. Um, but yeah, there was, and I wanted to get to this point. An interesting point, and I did like it from Rafa. Now, I'll be honest, like I haven't really liked Rafa a whole lot. Um, prior to, his previous things, but we've got to be a little bit cautious as well as optimistic as well. But I'll start with what he said, which was very good because it impacts the whole squad. He's come out and said that none of the players are on his exit list. There's no one that he's written off at the moment. But what he wants from the squad is he wants them to show him for them to be part of Panathinaikos to stay. So fight for your spot and you will play. If you're not, you don't want to fight or anything, you can go. I think it gives a clean slate almost to everyone. Now, I don't know if that extends to
Mac,
Max,
Vilena.
Vilena. So I don't know if that extends to them as well. But I think that's a little bit of a warning sign as well to Taborda. I think that's also a little bit of maybe to Zaruri as well, I believe. I think that might be a little bit of a thing there. So that was interesting. And why I'm saying, like, we should be optimistic and cautious about Rafa. We'll start with the negatives. Cautious. His recent history hasn't been great at club level. And when Rui came, we started playing well. We started off on a very good trajectory. Uh, and then we fell apart, especially when it came to Cedes, ironically, are our next Greek league opponent, and we'll talk about them soon. Um, so that's why I'm still remaining a bit cautious. But what there is to be optimistic about is we've seen with Rafa player instructions rather than a system and those tweaks, the player instructions, the player tweaks, where we're seeing Shoppies just follow Delhi, just stick to him like fly on dog shit, essentially. Just be a nuisance to him. We're seeing Jurisic come into the CAM, and then you see him pulling out to the um, left wing late in the game. You're seeing Pelissier being deployed as a nine. We haven't seen a coach really tweak since really Terem. Terem was
Yeah,
the master of the tweaking. I mean, Caden was a striker all of a sudden.
he was the extreme.
Yeah. So yeah, he was the extreme, but we're seeing a lot of in-game tweaks, and I think it's good because he's adapting to the situation. Against Bulk today, he did the same thing. He was adapting to the situation. I felt the subs were coming a little bit too late, apart from the early sub that he was forced to do with Kyriakopoulos of the beginning of the second half. Came like in the 70 plus minute. I was thinking the game was slipping at that point. We were just getting overrun. Um, but he does make the right adjustments, which is a positive thing as well to see. So we're hoping to see more of that. And before Ceres, and Nick, I know before the air you were mentioning this, but where is the famous Alafuzo, where he said in 14 days you will know about more about the like that real cryptic message in the Rafa Benitez press conference. Um, it was interesting because it wasn't really mentioned in the media, but today in the VIP suite with Alafuzos was uh, a billionaire by the name of Spiros Theodoropoulos. Now, he is a billionaire who runs, he's in the bakery, the deli sort of industry, the Chipita business where he sold that for like half a bill or something like that as well.
Is that who he is?
Yes. He's
Oh, I remember
philanthropist.
writing articles on this guy 8 years ago that he was close. He was linked with buying us back then when he pulled the plug when Alafuzos, they're mates. They're close mates.
Yeah,
I didn't know it
he's
was him. Back
philanthropist.
the old Agona sports that I used to write for back in that day.
Yeah, he's a vice chair of some Delphi project or something like that. So he's a bit of in the philanthropist. So he was spotted and um in the suite with Alafuzo. So that could be something if, everyone's, hoping that it's Agilekusi, the richest woman in Greece or the richest person in Greece. Everyone's praying it's her. We've seen some fantastic comments about that, what they'll do for her. Um, but
I think we'd take either.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course. So, and Leofordos did say it's not going to be the one that you read about, the one that,
Yeah.
the media is making
Yeah.
the most noise. In the interview that he told me, it's going to be the one that goes to the stadium, is sitting there silently, not really garnish, getting that attention. Look at me, look at me. So I think that's something to look out for. His name. So that's one to keep an eye out on.
But you're right, a lot of media speculation, all that sort of stuff. But since that interview, right, or since that statement a month ago, 5 weeks now, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
Mm,
It's now or never, this international break, or he's not talking about it.
yeah.
Yeah. So we do have next and we got the international break, but we do have Ceres on paper, and it is, I believe it is away. On paper, should be easy. It should be straightforward match. They're sitting last. They're on what? They're sitting last
5
on,
points, I think. 6 points.
yeah, 5 points. So one
Five.
win, two draws, seven losses.
And they've shipped a lot of goals. I think it's minus 18 goal difference.
They are, yeah, they've conceded 25, the most in the Super League. by 5 goals.
Tete,
It looks
now's your time to score, Tete.
it looks like a straightforward match, but we know this team. They're the
Ugh.
puppets of
PAO
They're the
Olympiacos.
the puppets of Olympiacos. We saw the Busquets with the striker Bentancur. We've seen, how they gift.
Last year's game.
Yeah, we saw the gifts that they give, and then you see them going to war with us. I expect more of the same to happen. I think it's going to be anything but a gift 3 points. I think it's going to be a game that they're going to defend, and
Long balls.
long ball
Yeah.
on a shit pitch, and they're probably only going to have one chance. And it could be that chance that gets them the win as well, or hold us. We saw last year where we went up 2-0, and that was the game that all of us will agree that
Yeah.
brought down our season.
Yeah, I was going to say that a really shit pitch and a deliberate shit pitch, but
Yeah.
our strategy needs to be first 15 minutes. We need to score within the first 15 because the longer it goes, they're going to park the bus, and we all know how that goes, right? So,
And
we need quick goals.
yeah,
I'd say fight hard. The
Yeah.
fight we've seen the last 2 games, Malmo and PAO, bring the fight. Fight fire with fire, physical, out muscle them, out enthuse them.
Yeah.
Determination, passion. We saw it against PAO, no reason not to do it here.
yeah. We know
Treat it like a derby. If they're gonna play like that, fight fire with fire.
yeah, and we know it's not going to be easy. Like they copped 5 against Leverkusen today, so they lost 5-2. So it's not going to be. We know on paper it should be straightforward, but we know this is not going to be the team that's going to turn up and just allow us to win. I hope they drop. I hope they get relegated. Them and Volos are the 2 teams that I hope
Yep.
we don't see. They're just bad news. But it looks like Volos will be safe this season. But
Well and truly safe.
yeah, they're probably on already enough points now, almost, that their season will be safe. But um, yeah, obviously we'll know a lot more if we can just get everyone fit, back ready, everyone's back unscathed from the international break, troops back. There's no reason why we shouldn't put 3 apart from them wanting to go to war with us. But it's the Greek league. You just never know what shocking decision might come. It was it the penalty last year, the Dragowski, the red card, that's what it was.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Turning point.
yeah. So yeah, international break, then it's Cedes, European game, Stone Graz at home, then Ike Derby.
Away.
That's probably the only positive thing because we've played, in the FC, we've played 2 of our derbies at home. And if you look at how derbies have gone, Bulk's played all 3 derbies, 2 wins, 1 loss. Olympiacos has played all 3 derbies, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. We've played 2 derbies, 1 win, 1 draw. And Ike has played 2 derbies for 2 losses. If we beat Ike, that will mean we've accrued the most points in the first half of the derby calendar, which is a big thing.
Are we playing at home against Ake?
Away.
Away? Okay.
That's a ground we've only won once at.
Yeah.
Granted, they didn't play there for a long time, but we've only won once in like over 20 odd years, which came last season.
Yeah, in the Papa Arena. So, yeah, look, there's,
We just got to back Rafa, I guess.
there's,
It's what you said. He wasn't our first choice, but we got to back him.
yeah, and look, if we can get to that 5-point mark, no more than say 7 of first place, I'd say the title race for us is on.
Yep.
I'm not going to throw the towel in and say it's not on. I think if we can get to a spot come the winter, come January, we're 5, 6 points behind. Winter window opens, where Rafa is probably expecting some signings that he wants. I'd say title is on. Title fight is on.
And
So,
that's a good and that's a good point. I think we're what is it, 5 weeks away, 6 weeks away from January. That there's gonna be some pretty big decisions, right? In terms of who moves on, who doesn't, and particularly up front, like who do we keep? Like do you dangle Swideski a little bit and
well,
get something for him?
we know Jeremy Jeff is gone.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, correct. Yeah, but Dessers, Buntilidis, is he confirmed for January or still
Well,
next
that's
year?
the
July.
Bandelides. He's July, but there's talks that we are looking to bring him in earlier.
Yeah, so that comes off. Tete as well.
There's definitely 1st of January.
Where would you put Swideski? He'd be starting on the bench, wouldn't he?
Phew.
I think both of them. I think Dessers eventually will be the first choice.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens with Dessers. Let's see what happens with Dessers, because at the moment, with him haven't been able to play or anything, does he come back as the main striker?
Not straight away.
Reputation and what, 2 goals in 2 games, you'd think he should, but if he's got any issues with the club, anything like the deregistering in the list, anything like that, who knows? Who knows?
Buntilidis scored again as well this morning, I think.
He did.
He's on fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
against the Gavri as well, so it's pretty big. We'll change course now. We'll get into the basketball where things haven't been as green for us, pardon the pun, especially in Euroleague. So tough loss against Red Star. Really poor offensively. 86 to 68. Very, very poor. We're seeing Ataman again, just really exploding, just not, just what I reinforced in the last time we all spoke. Just, he's got to step back, settle down, calm the team, show united front was now looks like he's throwing shorts underneath the bus, which isn't obviously a good sign. And then in the league game, we beat Betty Steady on the road, 89-72. Yeah, we've been screaming for a center because the big news in the basketball world is that the I'm going to try and word this carefully because Panathinaikos did make a statement about Lesor that it was the wrong. I think was it they didn't botch the surgery. It was the wrong assessment of his injury or something like that. Stop. The fake news need to stop, etc. But Lesor was scheduled to come back like now, but he's going to be time even further away because of his injury. Not too sure if it was a botched surgery or maybe a bad read on the extent of the original injury, but he won't be back as soon as what we thought. Panathinaikos has been struggling in the centres because your 7 also went injured, so we're really struggling with the big men. But we did make one signing at the moment, a centre. Now, he's 35 years old now. It's a bit of a strange case. It's Kenneth Fareed. Now, Kenneth Fareed was, I believe, the 10th pick for Denver Nuggets about 15 years ago. His rookie season for Denver, he was outstanding. Yeah, so he played like 6, 7 years for Denver. He was, sorry, not the 10th, but he was the 22nd overall pick. So I just want to be accurate before I'm saying that stuff. That he had the nickname of Manimal because he was a beast, getting the rebounds. He was known for his his scoring ability. So, and then he just kind of regressed. He just bounced around a couple of the NBA teams, Brooklyn Rockets from memory, and then just went abroad. We picked him up from China. He was part of the Team USA as well. So he's played with Team USA. So that talks about his ability as well. Um, all rookie first team. So he was outstanding. Um, when he first came into this team. Yeah, he was part of the World Cup America team in 2014 as well. So by reputation, he comes as like a big player. Um, so yeah, he was very consistent with his scoring, about, ranged in the NBA from 10 to like 12 and a half. So with it faded off 5.9 with Denver. But look, it's a band-aid fix. I don't think he's gonna be the man that we're gonna rely on solely. But there is another player that they're saying that we're gonna sign, or DPG, very cryptic, just giving a lot of hints. Um, as well as everything that you read at the moment on socials, is Charles Bassey, who's played a fair bit. He's young, he's 25, and he can play. He can play. Atlanta, I think he was with Orlando. No, sorry, Memphis. So yeah, he was with the Spurs. He's without a team at the moment. Um, the most recent thing was he signed a 10-day contract with Memphis, which just obviously is passed. That was in October. But if we get him, I think the BC is going to start looking good again. I think at the moment they're just struggling. No big men. Yeah, the American guys like Andoni will tell us, and Alki, where we don't have guards that can defend. That's the big issue. We got Slukas, who's really the only playmaker. Jerry and Grant can play a bit defensive. He's pretty good, but Nunn and Shorts are the same player essentially, and they're just scoring. They can't really defend at all, and we're just really lacking defensive guards that can defend. But I think with a big body like Bassi, where if he can play that way Lesort played in the first season that he came, where that was crucial to the way Panathinaikos played, that Nunn Lesort combo. If we can get that effectiveness from Bassi, we'll look good. We'll look good.
They've just got to get themselves together because I know we're missing a lot of players, even in that Holmes as well is another big loss at the moment. It's the heads are down.
Yeah.
They just look down. They look down and out. They look beaten. The Red Star completely blew us away. We were lucky it ended up and it's still so one-sided, but that could have been even more one-sided scoreline-wise.
Look, and we do have two tricky road games coming up. We do have Paris, or Paris, depends on how you want to pronounce it, and we got Real Madrid. So they're the two road games coming up.
Things could likely get worse before they get better.
Yeah, yeah. But look, neither of those teams are going as well compared to their previous seasons. Real Madrid, we're on the same points and wins with Real Madrid. They're having a real up and down. And Paris, a team that we haven't managed to beat. They beat us twice last year, so they're sitting below us. So if we can get 2 wins there, that would be very good. But there was a lot of, and I think it's coming more from the media, about Ataman's position. Maybe some whinging fans, Greek fans, Panathinaikos fans can never be happy. You gotta have a scapegoat. You gotta firing everyone is the instant solution. Um, about Ataman, but DBJ came out strongly in his socials defending Ataman, essentially, that he's not going anywhere. So that's obviously a good leadership and nod from DPG for his coach.
It's a bit of a familiar story, though, isn't it? Heavily plagued by injuries, just like our FC. But those two EuroLeague games are back to back, aren't they? This week, I think.
Yeah,
Within 2 days.
yeah. So
Yeah,
Tuesday night, Greece or international time, Wednesday morning, our time,
yeah. And
Australia,
Friday
and
morning.
Friday morning. Sorry, yeah, Friday morning.
Mm.
So yeah, two road games. Lucky they're pretty close to each other, but yeah, not easy places to go to. Um, so yeah, that's the basketball talk. Now, we did have a question or from a fan about. Now, this is a weird question, but we do encourage questions or thoughts, anything like that. Any player. Now, I'm only going to accept players from the current, not that are currently with us. If any players from the current squad will go into the Panathinaikos 03-04 squad.
That was the side that was robbed of the title back then. So that was a champion side, really. That is Upoli era we're talking.
No, we won the double.
No.
03-04, we won the double, I think. Was it
Okay.
03-04?
When was it in Upoli? The season before?
Yes. Yes, yeah, the year before. The 03-04 was the double because we went on to the Euro. And that's when Nikopolidis left us.
It was too, wasn't it? That's right.
Yes, and in the Greek Cup final, they were booing him, Panathinaikos fans,
Yeah.
because he had already there was like the rumors that he had signed for Olympiacos. Um, so that was the team. It was the double. Yeah, Marcus Mink. Um, I'm looking at the squad now. I'm trying to see if any player from the current squad goes into. I don't see any player going into the
No,
starting
that's what I was
11.
going to say. That's no.
There's none that I can see going to the starting 11 because Seitaridis was the right back. Renee Henriksen, and you had Gumas. Nassif Morris was bench then. Gumas was the captain. Um, I'm just going through the team now just to confirm everything. Kyriakos was there. We had Kotios, who was also backup. Konstantinis played the left back. Fisas was the left back. He was Greek international. Kyriakopoulos isn't, so there's probably a no there. Goalkeeper Nikopolidis, it was good. You can't say anything, even though he's a traitor prick. Midfield, left back was
No.
also Mink as well, Marcus Mink, who was keeping Fisas out quite a fair bit, and Marcus Mink was a machine player, and he was a crowd favorite for his short stay as well. Silvio Maric was the midfielder. Where are my midfielders on this list? All right, we've got San Martin, who was at that time one of my personal favorite players, the Romanian um whiz, great dribbler. Basinas, Sapanis, wasn't really a overall strong. We had what is Gonzalez as well, but he'd probably
Uh,
forward. But maybe Chirivella, maybe I might put in there. But I wouldn't put him over Basinas. It depends on the formation because obviously back then was like the 4-4-2 always the standard, or the 4-3-3 sort of formation, not the 4-2-3-1. Um, you'd probably say maybe Chirivella might if you had another slot. in there, and then forwards, Desses, no way is going to get ahead of, and neither is Swideski ahead of Costantino.
Would Oli Sadabi? No.
Zeki Vaseca. No, I think he had just left for Birmingham. Epaleg, Vlahovic. No, Olisadebe was part of the list. Also, Vindra was in. Vindra didn't come in 0304. Was he replaced? He replaced Seitaridis. I don't think we signed Lucas Vindra before that, but um, I really can't see any player at the moment in that starting that would overtake the starting lineup.
Yeah, neither.
I'd probably say, oh, Vindras was apparently in the squad as a squad player. Bench, maybe you can have a case for a couple. Like I definitely have Truvella at least bench. I think he's probably our one of our best players. Tete,
Nah.
not ahead of Gonzalez, who was on that right.
Rewind 6 months, 40, 100%. I'd Vayanidis as well, but outside of that, they're
Yeah.
currently not. I think for
Yeah, but
Revilla, I think you said it. Yeah.
Vaianis was not overtaking Seitaridis.
Yeah.
Seitaridis, amazing.
Yeah, good point.
And you also had Dimitri Papadopoulos, who was, I think, the top scorer as well that season.
Was too. Deadly striker.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's our answer when we tried debating it. I don't think anyone walks into the starting 11. I'd say there's more opportunity. They can maybe make the bench, but that's about it. There's maybe a couple of cases of players that might make the bench, but that 0304 squad was a special squad, double winning squad. Beat Olympiacos in the cup final 2-0 as well. 2-0, 3-1. But yeah, but apart from that, anything you guys want to talk? Any news? Anything that you saw before we wrap it up?
Good to have a couple of weeks off and then do it again.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think we've left anything out. So just as I said, great to be on after 2 wins, and as Tom was saying, just good to have now 2 weeks off because it's going to be 2 relatively calm, stress-free weeks.
Yeah.
Because then when we're back, I think it's 22nd, 23rd of November, whatever it is. Between then and Christmas, brace ourselves. A lot of football to be played.
Yeah. Here we go. Panathinaikos just made it formal. 25 minutes ago. Kotsolis is the official sporting director. It's been announced on socials. He has returned home. Kotsolis. So his role is the sporting director, which is good news. So we'll just finish. Well, we've got a new subject before we wrap it up. So Kotoli's former goalkeeper of Panathinaikos, loyal, he was a stalwart essentially. Never the greatest goalkeeper, but he was always there. Um, Became the sporting director of Kifisia and really shaped that team with Leto and a lot of the other guys that were there, but Kotolis did a lot of the work there, even for a goalkeeper. So don't dismiss him. He was a goalkeeper. He wasn't the greatest goalkeeper, etc. But what he did for Kifisia, we've done a really smart move in bringing him over from Kifisia to Panathinaikos for this role. I think him stepping up to this role and getting rid of that garbage that we had under Papa Dimitriou, can't believe I had to mention his name, but yeah.
Still,
Yeah, still the cockroach. He finally squashed. But I think it's great for the club moving forward, having Kotsoli back at the club as a sporting director. Hopefully, with this, we're gonna see better identification of talent, especially of the Greek talent, which has been missing or that we've let go. Um, So that's great news. And also, on a final note, the youth are looking good. 15s, 17s both beat the Gravity on the weekend as well. 17s, I think, are undefeated and first, and 15s are climbing the ladder and like are up there as well. So finally, we're seeing some progress as a club, youth level. Finally, investment in there. Players are coming. We develop that talent, and hopefully, not too long until we see them in our starting squad and not kill it for another club like Ike, etc. Like, we're seeing a couple of our players there, a couple of players, other clubs that tend to score against us. Bandelidis, also Pukifisia. So there we go. All right, gentlemen, it's a pleasure. Like always, Tom, Nick, Kalinichta.